The silent morning. You wake up at 5:52, 4 minutes before the alarm, and let it stay silent. Not because a podcast told you winners rise early. Your body stopped needing an alarm the year you stopped needing a boss's opinion of you. The house is a 1,650 square foot Craftsman on a street where the newest car is 11 years old. You bought it for $189,000 16 years ago. It's worth $412,000 now, paid off for 5 years. You are worth $2.7 million. Your mail carrier doesn't know. Your cousin who leases a car he calls his doesn't know. You put on a gray Henley you own in 4 identical colors. The luxury of a closet with no questions. You grind your own coffee, saves $1,400 a year, but that was never the point. The point was calculating a cost once and never relitigating it. While the coffee drips, you check the accounts. 90 seconds once a day, the whole ritual. 1.9 million sits across 3 index funds. You haven't sold a share in 21 years. Not in the crash that took 800,000 off the number. Not the year everyone agreed the system was finished. You kept buying every 2 weeks, rent owed to future you. 412,000 in a paid-off house. The deed beside your mother's hospital bracelet. From the year everything changed. 340,000 in a taxable brokerage, your bridge out before 59 and a half, 71,000 in cash, 19 months of expenses, doing almost nothing on purpose, because cash's whole job is making sure you never sell the good stuff in a bad month. And 19,000 in a custodial account for your nephew, nobody in the family knows exists yet. Total 2.7 million, give or take whatever the market feels like doing before lunch. You close the laptop. The number will move today. You will not. That stillness took 19 years to build and cost nothing but patience. The commute. You drive a 2016 Highlander, 141,000 miles, bought used, paid in full. A brand new truck cuts you off, sticker north of 68,000, financed at around 1,050 a month. You're not judging him, just doing the math he isn't. 1,050 a month invested instead is close to $900,000 in 20 years. That truck isn't a truck. It's a retirement that quietly stopped existing. He merges ahead. You sip conference swag coffee. At work, you're an operations manager 16 years in. Salary $118,000. Solid not parking garage money. Nobody suspects the guy with the cracked phone screen could write a check for the building. You still work because you like it, and because every paycheck now is pure surplus, not survival. When a director floats a plan that's going to fail, you say calmly, "That won't hold, here's why." And you can afford to be right out loud because nobody can fire the thing you actually depend on. Last year, they offered you a director title, 34% more pay, 3 times the meetings. You said no thank you. Your boss looked confused, like you declined a kidney. The raise moved retirement up 5 months. The stress would have moved your lifespan back further. Money doesn't buy the boat. It buys the no. The mentor moment. Mid-morning, a coworker named Priya catches you refilling your water bottle, quietly panicking. "Can I ask something weird?" You seem like you've got it figured out. "I've got 11,000 in credit card debt and I don't remember buying most of it." You remember being 24, 9,000 in debt, feeling less indebted than defective. Instead, you say, "Want the 2 sentences that fixed it for me?" Pay yourself first, automatically, before the money can talk you out of it, and never carry a balance on anything that isn't growing in value. That's the whole system. Everything else is commentary. You don't tell her the number. You never tell anyone the number. That afternoon, you send her the PDF someone sent you at 22. The lunch table. Lunch is leftover lentils, about 90 cents. Coworkers order $17 delivery and complain about rent in the same breath. You used to feel superior about that. You're mildly embarrassed by that phase now. Around your first 400,000, the superiority burned off. You're not eating lentils to win. You genuinely don't crave the $17 version anymore. That's the part influencers can't package because it can't be performed. Past a certain point, restraint stops being restraint and becomes taste. The phone call. Your phone buzzes. Not a financial advisor, you don't have one. It's your sister. Her transmission died, 1,650 she doesn't have. And you can hear her rehearsing an apology for a car breaking down like it's a moral failure. You remember that tone from the inside. Send me your account number, give me an hour, you say. This isn't a loan. Cars break. That's not a character flaw. You move 1,650 from the cash bucket, which refills quietly from surplus you never notice leaving. Here's the math nobody screenshots. 1,650 is 0.06% of your net worth. For her, it was 3 months from becoming $2,400 of interest debt. The best return you'll ever generate isn't in a brokerage account. It's deleting a 5-alarm problem from someone you love before it has time to compound. The temptation. A weakness late afternoon. A watch you've circled for 8 months drops to $2,900. You add it to the cart, then run the old 3 questions that replaced "Can I afford it?" years ago. Will you want this in 30 days? Object or feeling? Whose eyes are you wearing it for? You sit with that last one the longest. The honest answer for a while was strangers, and your entire financial life was built on refusing to pay strangers rent for their opinions. You close the tab, not from willpower, from recognition. Your espresso machine passed this same test 2 years ago. You use it daily, zero regret. The filter isn't there to say no. It's there to let the right things through. The origin story. If anyone finds the real number, they'll assume inheritance. There wasn't one. Your mother's medical bills after her surgery at 51 made sure of that. What there was. At 23, you started putting 14% of a $38,000 salary into an index fund, about $440 a month, and it felt like losing a limb. Every raise after, half life, half the machine, until it quietly ate 30% of a 6-figure income. You stayed married. You kept 1 car loan and never took a second. Average investor, elite at not panicking. 21 years. That's the entire secret, that there isn't one. Just a long hallway with no windows that almost everyone leaves early because nobody claps in there. First 100,000 took 8 years, the second took 3, the most recent took 4 months. The hallway has no windows, but it has an exit, and it looks exactly like an ordinary Tuesday. The driveway. You pull into the driveway at 5:45. Your neighbor Marcus waves from his porch next to the boat and 2 leased SUVs. Marcus makes more than you do. By every visible measure, he's winning. You'd estimate Marcus could not survive 4 months without a paycheck. You're not better than Marcus. That boat is real joy. But you also watch your mother get a diagnosis at 51 with $4,000 in savings and pure fear in her eyes, and at 17, in one cold hallway, you decided nobody would ever do that math to you. Every identical Henley, every used SUV, every automatic transfer is a 17-year-old keeping a promise. The neighbors see a modest house and a used Toyota. They can't see the promise underneath it. Invisible wealth is still wealth. Visible wealth is half the time just expensive noise. The dinner table. Dinner is with your wife. You didn't build any of this solo. 19 years ago, on your second date, she told you she had 4,000 saved and an actual plan, and you fell for her somewhere around the word plan. 3 money arguments in 19 years, always resolved the same way. A standing meeting, first Tuesday, 20 minutes, numbers on the table, no ambushes. Money fights in a marriage are almost never about math. They're about surprise. You two deleted the surprise years ago. The evening walk after dinner, you walk your usual mile and a half. Someone on a podcast this morning asked, "What's your actual number? When is enough? Enough?" You passed your number $700,000 ago and nothing happened. No confetti, no finish line. The number just became a bigger number and you were still you, walking the same loop in the same shoes. That's the part that arrives after the money and only after. The day you stop flinching at the mail. The day layoff rumors bore you. The day you say no to the director title and sleep fine that night. Wealth was never the number on the screen. Wealth is the density of not a problem in your actual life. Transmission, diagnosis, market crash, root canal. Not a problem 4 times over. You are functionally a machine that converts money into calm. That's the entire business model. The clothes you read in bed for 20 minutes. Tomorrow, one meeting, a dentist appointment, your nephew's 2nd birthday next weekend. Someday he'll open an envelope explaining what's been quietly growing since the week he was born. That will be the loudest thing your money will ever say out loud. Today you earned $454, spent $22, gave away $1,650, and said no to a watch. Nobody clapped. Nobody knows. Tomorrow the market opens, it moves, and you do nothing. Beautifully, again, because real money, once it's actually yours, goes completely silent. And so, eventually, do you